In this video, we'll be examining the SSRS report project components, which include shared data sources, shared data sets, the reports, and deployment. Let's start with the shared data sources. Make sure that the server analysis DW data source is pointing to your data warehouse and the server analysis DW database. Configure the credentials for proper authentication. Most of the reports will use this connection. Shared datasets. These are datasets that are usually called by more than one report. Opening the instance list get shared dataset, we can see that this dataset is wired to our shared data source. It calls the stored procedure analysis.serverListGet. The Fields tab shows that it'll return two columns, server name and con string. The parameter tab receives a value of version, and we will use 2012 most of the time. The reports section. Expanding the reports node, we see a list of reports. Some of these reports are a parent report, and some of them are child reports. Now here we've named all the child reports with the prefix sub, so that they're a sub-report of the main parent report. Let's open the CPU report. You can see that the top part of the report includes a form for selecting or entering search filters. The main section of the report contains two sub-reports, which will also receive the same search and filter criteria as the parent report above. On the left side of Visual Studio in the Report Data tab, you'll see more items. If this data tab is not showing for you, the keyboard shortcut is Alt-Control-D to bring that up. First, inspect the data sets and notice that we have made an instance of the shared data set, instance list get here, and we called it instance list. Looking at the parameters list, we note the end date and minutes back variable. Parameters created here will automatically populate into the filter form. We have set a default value of now for the end date and 60 for minutes back. Now open the SubCPU signal weights report. This is one of the sub-reports included. You can see how the parameters and dataset are set up the same way as in the parent report. The only difference is that we have an additional dataset that is unique to this sub-report. If you inspect the dataset disk mem signal weights, you can see that we call a different stored procedure and it returns fields that are used by our chart. Click on the chart and you'll see how those fields are applied to the different axis and or summarized. And that brings us to deployment. Right-click on the project and select Properties. Here you'll see the path to our SSRS report server. Change this target server URL to the path of your server. If you change the configuration from release to debug, you can see that you can store multiple deployment paths. To deploy, make sure the correct environment is selected. Right-click on the project and select Build. Then right-click on the project and select Deploy. Verify the deployment by logging into your SSRS server and viewing the report.